All right, we are back, and our characters have some personality to them now, but we've got to give them some bones. So
Andrew's character has less bones than the rest of us.
Yeah, by a pretty significant margin.
Dang it. So this is where the magic happens. Choose 10 dice to show which elements are strongest within you. They all start out live. So on your character sheet here, you'll have like a fire, earth, air, water, and self. And then on the left it says dice. So that's such and such live out of such and such total, basically. There are 5 kinds of dice, and as Plato tells us, they map to 5 different kinds of elements. So Plato tells us that the D4, the tetrahedron, is sharp and pointy.
The spiky one.
Is sharp and pointy, so therefore fire is made of tetrahedrons. So we know that the D4 is fire.
Also kind of goes like that.
Yeah, exactly.
It looks like a campfire. Yeah.
Yeah. Plato says that the cube, the D6, is the most stable of the shapes. It's the least likely to go. It's the one that you can make a house out of. So therefore, that's obviously
that's actually the triangle, or the pyramid rather. But please continue.
Yeah. No. But it's the one you can make a house out of.
Yeah, you can't stack pyramids on top of each other.
Yeah, so therefore it's Earth. So Earth is the D6.
You can say that, Luke, but watch me. I'm going to do it. I'll be out in the backyard stacking pyramids.
If you have 4 pyramids on the bottom, then one upside down, then one...
Yeah. Everyone wait for Andrew's IRL stream, where they're going to prove me wrong with, giant pyramids.
We're demonstrating a schema whereby we might stack the pyramids. We will call it the pyramid schema.
I'm pretty sure the D6 is the only one that tessellates in... the cube is the only one that tessellates in 3D space, but I might be wrong about that. I don't know if the tetrahedron does. But,
regardless, Plato didn't know this shit, so, let's just stick with Plato.
The D8 is the most aerodynamic, so therefore it's obviously air. So that explains that. The D12 has 12 sides, and 12 is a magic number that is very important, and so therefore is the heavens, and therefore the self. And then the D20 is all wobbly and rolls around a lot, and so therefore it's water.
Yeah. It's most like a droplet of water.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's round.
So I'm glad that... So this game is obviously based on real Platonic science, and that's how the elements work.
Thank you, the ghost of Plato.
Right, exactly. So helpful. In the PDF, the last page has a nice little table that gives you a whole bunch of things that are associated with the different elements. So for instance, ambitiousness isn't associated with fire, wisdom is associated with self. But the thing that matters most is obviously what you use them for. So there are 5 actions in the Republic, and each of them maps to one of these. So if you have more fire, you're probably going to be better at striking things. If you have more air, you're more likely to be good at avoiding things. If you have more earth, you're going to have a better time building. If you have more water, you're going to be better at tending. And if you have more self, you're going to be better at observing. Now, any dice can be used for any action, but they have one that they're better at.
The dice magic of this game is my favorite thing about it. It's so, spooky.
How you doing, Sean? You got a face.
No, I was just saying, I'm not sure I believe that, Luke. You have exhibited some pretty heavy excitement for the world, the Republic that we've built up.
But Sean, you haven't seen how the dice math to this game works in play yet.
That's true. I've read it, but I haven't seen it in play. But it's a little bit
really magical.
You might spontaneously combust if you were any more excited about it.
I have a boundless capacity for excitement. It's one of my supernatural powers.
If you were to combust, you would turn into a pyramid.
At any given
human shape.
at any given time, I consist of approximately 50% heartfelt sincerity, 50%. Actually, they're all equal 33s. Sincerity, excitement, and spookiness. That's just like.
What's your leftover 1% then?
The leftover 1% is my occasional salty banter,
You're fair.
where I sass back at Andrew.
Cool. So this is so when we're doing these choices, you can just stack hard into things. Everyone could just all take fire dice. That is a thing you could do. It's not the best idea. You don't have to have like, you can have one where you have nothing in a specific element. That's perfectly fine. But you want to make sure that like stacking too hard is often means that
A mistake.
It makes it easier for me to make things hard for you.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like being perfectly even across everything tends to mean that you're not great at anything.
So we're dividing 10 dice between the 5 abilities.
Yep.
And yeah, and if you like building up synergies between your characters is also really helpful.
Ash,
Luke,
would you say that teaching is building or tending?
I think that's
Or is it
building.
an either, depending on how it's described, type situation?
It depends on the way you describe it fictionally. I would default to building.
Yeah, that was my feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. The end goal that you wanted, which was to tend to people, I could see you making a very strong argument saying that, like, I'm helping people.
I'm teaching people to tend to themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
You're building that strength in them. Whereas, and this is one of the things about this game is that like those 5 words, those 5 actions exist both literally and figuratively in a way that we interact.
Like you can strike at someone's self-confidence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
That's how you torture people without doing actual physical violence, Sean.
Yeah. Yeah, the specific descriptions are... Where am I? Strike. When you strike, you use force to damage, break down, or destroy. When you build, you create, augment, or bolster, either ex nihilo or from resources at hand. When you avoid, you dodge or evade trouble or danger. When you observe, you gain new information or insight through your senses or intuition. And when you tend, you heal, soothe, or nurture with your skill and care.
Oh, in that case, fuck Earth. In that case, my teaching is absolutely about nurturing. I just need water.
Yeah, I think the thing is that like there's in that case it's probably less structured.
Yeah, no, totally.
When you're rolling, is it always for bending? Or do you just represent?
So the way that if we talk about like dice rolling, I'll take us through it. It's kind of half handled, but by the Roll20 sheet. But when you do an action, I will say how many successes are required, and you will pick which of your dice, or how many of which of your dice you want to roll. And if they hit the success values for the action, for instance, if you are building, the success values are 4, 5, 6, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So any of your dice that are any of those, they'll be successes. Any of the others become dead. And so they're exhausted until you do something fictionally to bring them back. That might be being tended by another player or something like that. So it's an exhaustion mechanic. So that's the basic thing. So I might be like you might be building and you want to use a D6 and a D4, one of your earth and one of your fire. So your d6 rolls a 3 and your d4 rolls a 4. So your d4 is a success, your d6 is a 3, and so it becomes dead. When you're bending, so if you in fiction use your element bending powers, you roll those dice. You roll each of those dice twice. So you roll your d4 twice and your d6 twice. Or if you're just rolling, you might be using your d6 but only bending your d4. So you only roll the d4 twice because you're only using fire bending, and then you're just using your inner earth by default. So when you roll it twice, if either of them is a success, it's a success. But if either of them is not a success, it still becomes dead.
But you still gain the success of it.
You still gain the success. You're more likely to succeed, but you're also more likely to end up with a dead dice.
Okay.
So that's how, and that's based on fictionally. Am I using the magic, right? Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, is this soup the everyday kind of magic, or is it magic soup?
yeah, exactly. Are you just torturing him, or are you bending the
Am I
fire?
putting my fire chi inside them and attacking their chi and burning it down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luke,
I didn't mind bend anyone. Excuse, I spirit bend.
fine. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes.
So for Shoddy, I'm leaning very heavily towards air and self. I think Shoddy is good at detecting danger and avoiding it. That's how she survived thus far.
That sounds like a good skill set.
Yeah, so that's where I'm. Observe and avoid are, and I have nothing in fire, and that's very intentional because I feel like the solution to the rigid laws of citizenship are to like burn it down, like to break it, and I don't want to start with the ability to do that. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I want either need someone else's help, or I need to find a different way, or so I'm intentionally taking the thing that was the most obvious to me and saying, nope, no good at that. So good at survival, but not good at affecting the change she wants to see in the world.
Must burn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I
Yeah,
have
because like fire and earth are the most like affecting change.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those are my lowest.
I have 2 fire, 1 earth, 0 air, 4 water, and 3 self.
Cool.
So I am good at tending and nurturing, and I am good at observing, and I'm real bad at avoiding. I'm not an avoidant person by nature.
Yep.
What is avoidant?
Air is avoidant.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is D12s.
Yep.
Air is D8s.
Or sorry,
12s is
D8s.
Eights,
12s
yeah.
is self.
It's
Yeah. Numerically, you've got it going fire, earth, air, self, water, but on the
of
on the
course,
sheet
yeah.
and on the last page of the PDF, it goes fire, earth, air, water, self.
Yeah, because
The
I was
water
doing it
itself
based
is
on the
awful.
size of the dice in the Roll20 sheet, so that.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. Oops.
Because,
Hey Andrew,
yeah.
does your character have a bunch of fire dice?
I'm going to have at least 2. Sorry, how many dice do we distribute again? I'm like
10.
10.
forgetting.
Character has 4 fire dice.
Nice.
Damn.
How many?
4.
Nice. We're fire and water. This is
I'm-
good.
4 fire, 1 earth, 1 water, 0 self.
With the dynamic duo.
Who
Together
needs
we make
self?
steam.
Wonder Twins.
Oh dear.
Steam is how you really bring down an oppressive society.
No, it's really not.
No.
Steampunk isn't punk at all.
Luke,
Who said anything about steampunk?
Luke, you're thinking of like adhesives, and like if you've got like something on a window or like you
Yeah,
need to
that's
open an
right.
envelope, that's a different thing.
Look, all I know is that my character probably loves tea.
I mean,
The
probably.
largest oppression is when you pull a sticker off and just a little bit of gunk left on there. That's the biggest societal oppression.
Yeah, that's that right there. Transphobia, outrageous.
Yeah.
So I feel like it would be very stereotypical for my character to be all fire and earth, and be very like those strike me as aligning with traditionally masculine stuff.
That's your man soldier abilities.
Yeah, and so I would like to veer. I would like to play away from that. Although fire is like an obvious one that have to have. It's like spent time
Killing people.
Maybe
it's gone from him now.
yeah, maybe your fire has been like beaten out of you essentially after being in the military.
I would still like to have a little bit. He's got to have a little bit of fire in him, but it's burning low. Yeah.
Yeah. Andrew, I think it's an interesting take both on like the fact that you like survive, like you were wounded and survived rather than just dying on the battlefield. Like if you've got a bunch of air dice and are actually really quite good at avoiding. Like I think there's something interesting in that like the military life is really one of fire and air.
Yeah, and I kind of want to lean into self as well. That like Pyros like sees things that other people may be oblivious to. Like he's not oblivious.
Yeah.
And that's why this current state that he's in, he can't accept it because he sees the world. He understands to a certain extent the world.
In that case, if you're gonna go, because that means, because Sean, you've got good self, and Andrew, you're talking about going good self, and I've got good self. I might take myself down a little and raise my earth.
That seems like
good.
It seems in line.
Good means 3 or more dice. Is this what we're...
Yeah, I mean, statistical average is 2, so yeah.
So I'm gonna have air 3 and self 3, 2 fire. Don't think I have water.
I think you should have no water. Yeah, I really don't see. That's like your.
That's his one big blind spot. Is
And you can't tend yourself, right? Like that's part of the problem you have.
That's why you need me to do it for you.
That's his whole thing that he's experiencing right now. Being able to build though would be kind of nice also, I will say.
I mean, like maybe give yourself some of that, like even if it's just 2 or like even 1.
So right now, okay, there I have 10 with 2, 2, 3, and 3. That's 10.
Yeah, sounds great.
That's how maths work.
Maths.
For those of you at home.
That's how a math do.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right. So I've adjusted mine slightly.
Okay, Ash, here's a question. Oh, sorry, Luke. You go.
No, you.
I have the same odds of succeeding at a strike action using Earth dice as I do at succeeding on a build action using Earth dice.
Yes. So Plato tells us that Earth is also the most is the most stable of the elements. So therefore, it's actually the best all-rounder of the dice sizes.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm seeing that now too. That if you're rolling a d6, there's always a pretty, almost always a 50-50 chance.
Yeah, d6 is better at everyone else's actions, but less good at its own actions because building is hard. Like,
right, I'm dropping my fire to 1 and putting my earth to 3.
Cool.
Sean, the math in this game is magic.
I believe you. I'm excited about it.
Cool.
I got my head around it the first play test, and then I'm slowly reacclimatizing to it because I was like, there is a strong logic to this. I just can't remember what it is.
Yeah.
Also, to do a violence is very difficult unless you have lots of fire dice, and then you're so good at doing a violence.
Yeah. Self is not bad at doing violence also, because if you understand yourself, you understand your enemy. So.
Ash, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Anyway, let's stop talking about about the philosophy of the numbers I have chosen.
No, come on. This is just a stream about that now. Like, come on.
Yeah,
that's what the game is.
I just am making observations of what I like and think is cool about the game. though.
Fair.
Deal with it. Too bad. It's tough for you. I'm sorry.
All right, jeez.
All the focus on how cool
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Really, Andrew should have been a cast member on Backup Street Shit Kids, because they are the biggest shit kid of them all.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Luke.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, you really remind me of an opossum, Andrew. You know, like in the best way. In the best way.
Yeah, when you're gonna find me in your trash can tonight, and you're like, "How the fuck did you get here?" And then
I'll be like, "How the fuck did you get here?" And then I'll be like, "Damn, like come in, have some dinner, like let's hang out. It'll be good."
Is that what you do with possums?
I mean, no, but if Andrew had somehow like teleported from Canada and was in my trash, I'd be like, "What the fuck?"
I mean, yeah.
But also, like, let's hang out.
And also, like, would you like to get out of the trash can?
I mean, look, I don't want to presuppose their feelings about the trash can. I'll leave them to tell me that.
All right. So, how are people doing with their dice? Is anyone still needing to like sort any of that out, or has everyone got it sorted?
I think I got mine.
Done.
Good. Yeah.
Cool.
I'm trying to decide whether or not to have one in Earth or one in Self, but I think one in Earth makes the most sense for Lisa.
Actually, I'm going to put myself back up. Because I can also do violence with self dice, and like it makes a lot of sense to me with this character that a lot of their capacity for violence comes from like understanding people.
Now I want to check in because we're pretty much nearly done like session 0 setup stuff. Does everyone want to do a last hour of like stepping in and playing and introducing? And like getting a feel for it.
I could is start of session typically heavily procedural, where there's lots of things that we do at the beginning of the session, or start of session often like
we're
cool,
pretty much at the end of that. Now that we've finished characters, I think
what Sean is saying isn't so much that is just like on a given session or for like a session, how much do we care about a session as a unit of play? Is there like stuff we do at the beginning, stuff we do at the end?
No,
we just kind of fluidly roll through.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure momentum is handed out. Let me check to see if momentum is handed out at the end of a session or at the end of. So momentum is handed out at the end of a session. So it would be tactically advantageous to you to have a little bit of play, like an hour of play, and then
a short session. Yeah,
we get some free XP.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the closest thing we have to XP.
Not free, but yeah.
Yeah, there's no real advancement in this game. So
there is. It just is not tied to experience.
Well, it's not really about the character. Like advancement looks like us breaking things
down. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we advance by changing the setting, not by changing our characters.
Right.
But
also if someone dies, then you advance.
That's true. That's true. I did forget about that.
Yeah. I have tried to have that discussion with people talking about Fate, where I said the best advancement in Fate is changing one of your aspects, and it's like the free advancement you can get at any session, but it's not adding skill points or anything else. It's because you get to say a new thing that's true about your character.
Yeah, like
like that's the coolest thing to do.
So fucking powerful. Yeah, like why would you not?
Yeah. Cool. All right. I need to just double check the rules and make sure that everyone make sure your momentum is set to 0. You start with 5 abstract armaments. So armaments are just fictional things that give you an extra dice on a roll. So basically, you don't need to put anything in for them unless you want to turn one of your abstract ones into like a hard armament and be like, I have this, straight up, I have this. So armaments are equipment, knowledge, anything that is a thing that you can have that will assist you in a situational role.
Is my soup kitchen an armament?
That was my question. Like, what is the soup kitchen and that's up to you. Is the soup kitchen an armament?
Yeah, does it matter to me enough to be an aspect, or is it just flavor text? Is it just like, yeah, right? Like, what is it? I mean, it'd be a pretty fucking good armament because it's like on any action in the soup kitchen.
I mean, yeah. Right?
So
Like,
it doesn't-
as long as the soup kitchen would be helping you, right? You have to be able to
Yeah, well, exactly,
control it
yeah.
infectionally.
So
Yeah,
I have
I-
a question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do we? You might have already said to. Do we associate a specific dye with the?
No.
armament?
When you're using an armament, you have to, like you technically get to choose what dice it is, but the hope is that if you're like, you would associate that with the kind of action you're using it for.
All right. So yeah, they're gonna adapt to whatever action we're rolling. We're gonna pick like
Yeah.
a good die for that action.
Yep, exactly. Because you have to have already fictionally established that it's useful.
Yeah.
Which generally would mean that it's within the idiom of the thing. Okay. cool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of my abstract armaments is the soup kitchen.
So you can turning one of your abstracts into soup kitchen.
Yep.
Cool.
Can I turn two of them into the soup kitchen?
Well, they would have to be different elements of the soup kitchen.
I'll think about it.
Because remember that you can only ever trigger one armament on a roll.
That's true. Yeah, yeah.
So-
I'll think about it.
Yeah.
Is there a place in the sheet to put armaments?
Yes. Sorry, there
It's
is.
it's the plusy bit under the
Plussy bit
dice
under the.
right?
I need to put a heading on there to say that.
What do we have a name for the society that we were before we were the Republic?
Yeah, because like
the
the Old
Empire.
Republic is a bit too Star Wars.
We were the Empire.
Kingdom?
It's the fucking inverse of Rome. We went from an empire to a republic.
Yeah, that's definitely doable.
We had reverse Julius Caesar.
Yeah.
I like calling it the Old Kingdom personally.
Yeah.
That for me, that's really tricky because there is a specific fantasy novel series.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All about that, and I
that's
think there's a lot of
complex.
fictional baggage that brings with it. That
Yeah.
I'm gonna start being like, yeah, and then necromancy and bells and fucking
call it
free
the
magic
old world?
constructs and like Garth Nix is gonna sue us.
What about
So, like-
what about the old world, right? Like as if we've replaced a whole world with the Republic.
In this brave new world that we now live in.
And we could.
Yeah.
Thank you. Nice.
Thanks, Aldous Huxley.
Yeah. Okay. I like the old world.
Yeah, that works for me.
Because we could also name it something sort of disparaging, like the Fallen or something like that, just to represent that whatever they called themselves, we
Don't care.
We
We've
don't
given
care,
them a
but-
new name. Yeah.
But I think the old world has got some ring to it.
You
So
could even go like the old Imperium.
Yeah. Yeah. That's also one. Yeah, I think we can. I think like if we say the old kingdom, the old world, the old empire, I think we all know what that means.
sure.
Yeah, it's the old insert
then-
noun for
yeah.
system of government here.
Of your choice. Yeah.
Yeah.
The old order, like whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Yeah.
The old ways.
That's a Lorena McCannett song.
So I'm gonna-
You'll keep treading all over specific cultural touchstones.
Every word has been used before, Luke. I'm sorry. We're not going to be able to dodge. We're not going to be able
We just need to do a Lewis. We just gotta do a Lewis Carroll and make something up, Andrew. Come on. Like,
yeah, let's play dialect inside of the Republic, where
Yeah,
we
exactly.
also make up our own language as part of making it the Republic.
thanks, John Roland Rolkin Tolkien. Like, slow down.
It's not
So-
such a terrible idea.
So I wanted to take one of my armaments, and I think I need to maybe refine this a little bit, but it's knowledge of the old Imperium. Shadi really, again, survived by being adaptive and avoiding trouble, and I think that she got to the point of, having a life of leisure by navigating that old Imperium, that she doesn't know how to navigate the new one, but I feel like it will sometimes come into play anyway. I feel like there's no way in which we actually really threw everything
We
out.
couldn't have possibly shed everything.
Yeah.
No, we couldn't. So even though knowledge is like, I have knowledge of these things, seems really broad because it's only applicable to the old.
Yeah, I think that's
time.
appropriate. That's fine. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool.
Oh, I think I have a second one. I'm also gonna take like healing arts, because I think that is like a
Knowledge.
very obviously.
one?
Yeah, like I know about like I have an understanding of medicine. Like that's
Isn't that just covered under the fact that you have bending?
Yeah, medicine
no,
is
because
different.
I feel like
Yeah.
there's more to like
yeah, if
being
you
a
say-
good doctor than just being able to bend.
If you say medicine, then that means a different thing to me than healing
Okay.
arts. And I think that healing arts is too broad. and because it covers bending. But if you say knowledge of medicine, that's...
Oh, you know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna hone slightly. It's knowledge of anatomy. Like, I understand how people are put together.
Yep.
Which helps me both put them back together and take them apart.
Yeah, and I think
back into the torture space.
Yeah, and I think the great thing about that is that that's probably a certain amount of, like, also part of the forbidden knowledges, right? Like, that you're not supposed to...
Yeah, you're not allowed to do autopsies or whatever on people.
Catch me fucking Leonardo da Vinci, like, digging up bodies at the night. Like,
don't violate the sacred bodies of
the citizens.
The living or the dead. Yeah.
Yep. Cool. So is everyone all good with their armaments?
They can exist in state of potential.
Yes, they're by default state of potential. I'm just asking if anyone wants to, like, solidify.
I don't have anything out the jump.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, me neither.
Cool. Then has everyone got pronouns and a name?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, Shadi is particularly bereft of names. She was given her husband's name when she was married into the old Imperium, and that's been stripped away. So she had a name that got taken away. Then she had another name, and that's been taken away too. So she's just Shadi specifically. She used to have a last name that was given to her, and then before that she had a last name as well. So yeah.
Nice. Very cool. All right.
In terms of naming convention, would, like, your standard non-citizen have a last name?
I mean, they'd probably have, like, a house name or something like that, right? Like, and it's the thing where, like, you would take the name of like, if you were serving a house, you would have taken that house name.
Yeah.
Like, it would depend surely on what kind of a non-citizen you are.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a woman, if you're a non-citizen because you're a woman, then you probably have, like, the name of a male authority figure in your life.
Yeah.
But if you are a non-citizen because you're gay, like, probably not. You probably just don't have a surname.
If you were
there
otherwise a
might
citizen,
be some surname that's literally just the gay.
Yeah.
Your name is blank slur as surname, which is kind of gross, but yeah.
Yep, that's probably a thing.
It's probably a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Hello, my name is Ashton the Trans.
Yeah. So
I am Gandalf the Gay.
Oh God.
Well, yeah. So, Kidders, we might actually even have had the same.
Yeah, that's what I was. I was wondering if you had that surname in mind.
I haven't thought about it, but okay. Yeah, I think it would be something. If something it would be something Greek or Rome, right? Like that's of that culture. Because we haven't probably changed all of our naming conventions overnight. We didn't like have a revolution and like everybody pick new names now. No. So
the French did try and do that.
But like,
we definitely changed the names of all the months. But like,
well, I think there's probably a bunch of names that were like names of like that were like noble names that are no longer in fashion.
You can't name yourself
Hitler more.
That may be why we don't. Well, I think that's definitely why Shadi doesn't carry that name anymore. But for others, it may have just been like liberating
political expediency.
Yeah.
Like maybe your house name was like Dominus or something, and it's like that like the Marxist revolutionaries will not like me if I go around calling myself Dominus.
I like that one. I think that's great. How does that sound to you?
Dominus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like all of the names of the old emperors are like explicitly forbidden, but like other names that like smack of like the aristocracy are just like unpopular and discouraged.
Yeah. It's just like it like if you're on trial and they just announce your last name as being Dominus, the jury's going to turn against you just for that. All right? Like
it is a way to display your compliance.
Yeah.
/ your enthusiasm for the new way of things depending upon your position in society.
Yep.
To be like, yes, I've renounced my old bad imperial name and now I have a good virtuous name.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think you might have to earn it too.
There's probably also a whole fucking thing.
I mean, like Shadi definitely would have to earn it. I wanted to just check in, Sean, about like the way that the Citizens Forum works, do you need to like come back every X amount of time and like reaffirm or reassess your like
Re-up?
because if it's a place, right? Like you could just choose not to go there, but you have to like.
I think it's both a place and an institution in so much as like you go to the Citizens Forum, but the Citizens Forum is really the people that sort of come there to grill you.
Yeah.
So it's both the place and the people. And I think it is both things. One, Shadi has not reached this yet, so she has to go and like convince them to earn citizenship. And two, once she does, it is always a provisional citizenship. She could never earn a outright citizenship. It will always be something she has to continue to defend once she is once she is, because that's part of her motivation, is to become a citizen by virtue of just being herself and not a constantly having to reprove it. So if she just fulfilled the like Republic's expectation and she dotted all her I's and crossed all her T's, and then like the cool, you're a citizen, that still wouldn't fulfill her calling, because she'd be constantly questioned about it all the time. So yeah, I think you have to do both. You have to prove yourself and then keep proving yourself over and over.
The way that we had been describing it earlier, at least the way that I interpreted someone's description, was that you go to the Citizens Forum when your citizenship is put in question, or not just your citizenship, but your like ability to stay in
your place in society.
Your place in society is questioned. So like, if a citizen's like, "Yo, you shouldn't be here," you have to show up to the Citizens Forum. Like they can request that you show up to the Citizens Forum.
Yeah, right. That I like that.
Yeah, I think in a lot of ways, it is literally a court of public opinion.
Yeah. I think we need a term that doesn't mean straight white dude, which are the people who can be citizens.
Yeah, the Latin ally equivalent.
It does mean a member of an acknowledged member of the society.
Yeah, like resident versus denizen, or something like that.
I was thinking subject.
Resident or subject. Oh, that's fucked up.
Subject.
Yeah, you're either a citizen or a subject.
Or you're nothing.
Or you're nothing.
Yeah, or you're a not person, which currently is Shadi.
And currently Shadi is a nothing. She's a not person in the eyes of the Republic. But
we can use the word like we can use the word denizen to refer to like that.
Yeah.
Like a person.
And so what she's really shooting for by going to the Citizens Forum is to become a subject. But what she wants is to become a citizen
which is the first step on the path to cracking open citizenship and like opening it up to more people.
Yep. Cool.
Nice.
All right.
If you want to do it in such a like slow, methodical way,
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, or you could just get on board with team fire dice over here, and we could just like burn down the system.
Yeah, right. I think Shadi has two aversions to that, but we can see them both come up and play.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Cool.
No,
we'll have this conversation in
just making jokes.
Yep. Well, let's take a break and then come back and play the game, I guess.
Sounds good.
All right.
We have been playing the whole game.
I mean, like play the not set up.
No, but I want the XP getting part of the game.
Yeah, we'll get to that at the end.
No XP in this game, Sean.
We'll get to the bit where you get the thing that isn't XP because there isn't XP, but
you get the bit where you get intrinsic reward.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
There we
cool.
go.
All right. We'll be back in a minute, chat.